tied up here in our first elimination match of the Western Clash. Gilly Kala and Jay-How back to bring you Game 3, the final game of this best of 3 between Tempo Storm and Octalysis. Guys, Octalysis, they win Game 1, they win on Braxis, but Tempo Storm bringing it back on an old comfort, an old standard Dragonshire.
Yeah, they looked really good on the map as well. I think, again, just if Tempo Storm were just able to play their own game, they should find success. Octalysis, though, they have looked fantastic in both of these games so far. And honestly, it got to the point where I thought that game number 2 was theirs to lose as well.
I think the biggest part for me is looking at their league play. Tempo Storm loves map pick, and they love Dragonshire. The fact that that wasn't banned out, and then Tempo took that. Tempo, during league play, was 5-5 as first pick, and 13-2 as second pick. They love to pick the battleground. They excel from that second pick. And I think if you're Octalysis, you have to take control of the battleground, play the style that you want to play, and then willing to play into that second pick role for them to control where they take this. That's got to be a huge factor in this third game.
I agree, especially considering the fact that it's a best of 3. So let's see if Octalysis agrees or if they want to have first pick. Urel has been hotly contested from both these teams, and maybe they want to have first pick there. They do want first pick, which sends us to Cursed Hollow, a place where Tempo Storm has busted out some more Sergeant Hammer in the past.
This is also a map where in league play Octalysis 1 and 2, one of another battleground for Tempo Storm, they are undefeated on. And for them, this is playing right into their hands if you're Tempo Storm. I'm somewhat afraid for Octalysis going into game 3.
To me, this means that Octalysis has something special. That's usually what something like this means. If statistically they're kind of playing from the backhand, I really do think that Octalysis has something that we're maybe not used to. This is their moment to pull it out, right? This is do or die for these teams. One team is going to go home at this point, so they have to pull out everything.
Well,
I don't want to bring up any bad memories, but in their decisive game 5 against against Tempo in their previous series, the decisive game 5 was Cursed Hollow in part of that epic reverse sweep for Tempo Storm, obviously going in Tempo Storm's favor the last time they played on this.
I was certain you were going to bring up ETC since there's been
not.
a lot of Dahaka bans into ETC first pick that has not worked out for teams. It's not just like Octalysis, and Dimic has also, I believe, played it on this battleground or other battlegrounds, 2 large battlegrounds in general. Having the stage dive has just been a constant not successful move for most of the NA teams. And Tempo Storm is going to restrict globals quite a lot with Abathur and Dahaka bans.
The problem that we saw when Octalysis did that was they first picked it.
Yeah.
And it was a little rough.
That's tough to first pick that hero, that's for certain. But we're going to find out what this first pick is going to be. Team Octalysis taking their time. They got 10 seconds left. We got Abathur and Dahaka banned out, and there's the Hanzo. So a lot of control over all of the like boss points on this map. Hanzo is just absolutely fantastic here.
So I want to bring up a point because this has been traditionally one of Greymane's best maps, historically one of his better maps. And Fan is one of the better Greymane players and one that has played it the most in North America. That could show up in the later part, and we know pushing structures, things of that nature, and then look for them to heavily prioritize camps with that. And that is something that they do have to keep in mind. Hanzo's great. Hanzo does boss race better than anybody, but Greymane and the way that Tempo does it is a whole different story.
Well, Raynor can also race down something pretty quickly too, and all I wanted in this world was Caterpillar to get Diablo in those 2 picks. And so I am so happy to see it's Diablo Raynor together, but Octalysis is going to bring in Medivh, who can enable that Garrosh, get in a better position for his taunts, and better position for his combos.
And Medivh as well, just able to get on top of Raynor with those portals. So Raynor, being a ranged assassin that doesn't really have a lot of mobility, the style of comp that Team Octalysis has right now, they have the backline chunk with the Hanzo, they've got Garrosh and Medivh who can both go through the portals and get on top of Raynor. So far Octalysis with an excellent opener, and there is the Malthael ban. So you don't really want to go against a Malthael when you're playing the Diablo. He can absolutely destroy you with the last rites. I think that's a fantastic pickup. Blaze is also available though, so it's interesting that they would choose to ban that one when they had Blaze to pick up.
Is there any world where Octalysis bans Blaze here, less survivability when you do go in with those portal compositions? Because I feel like of Goku and Glaurung, Goku feels like he is a little more flexible within his role.
I
wonder if that's actually going to be it. No, it's going to be the ETC instead. When you see the
But
Dahak
still.
and Abathur off the board, and it's this far through the draft, I think it would have been pretty safe to run something like an ETC. As we all know, the stage dive flexibility post level 10, this is a huge map. A lot of opportunities where your opponents have to push into unfavorable positions for those tributes. You can get the stage dives in some pretty cool areas. These next 2 picks from Tempo are going to be huge. Deckard Cain is up. I feel like that is kind of a no-brainer at this point.
Especially against the Garrosh. You have so much frontline control. Yes, you are more risky, but they come through that portal. You put down the root and see if they can make it out. Instead,
Grant us strength.
just Twilight Dream when they come through. Put down some roots when they come through. Junkrat, you know, obviously is one of the heroes that we tended to see, but with Zeratul there, yes, we know Glaurung has made a name for himself, especially while streaming on that Zeratul player, but on this team, it has been fanned as the Zeratul player, but the flexibility for that team is there.
That still leaves up Deckard Cain, though, to go along with Medivh, and those two together are quite the synergy. We've been hearing rumblings of that, but no. More aggro all the time. Buds is going to play Karzim, and they take Blaze there. What does that leave now? Is it going to be Glaurung Zeratul at this point?
Honestly, not too sure right here. Diablo, Raynor, Zeratul, and Malfurion. Again, though, I have to point to the fact that Medivh able to get those portals onto Malfurion.
So
no ice block, like that's scary.
Sonya's the last remaining one outside of Illidan. But I guess there is always the Leoric.
Yep.
You get tossed in, you can Wraith walk away. This has never been a great Leoric battleground.
That's true.
That
but
is
level
scary.
20 for Tempo Storm. You've got Buried Alive. You've got the Zeratul late game scaling. That is some insane late game power.
The only thing that scares me is that we don't often have late game on Cursed Hollow and NA, but as long as they can make it through and not lose too much, I think, with that initial boss, then that is true, that they are going to be strong in late game.
I imagine I can see now that Leoric will have to be that beacon, that ward that keeps an eye on all the bosses, because double boss play with Hanzo, very threatening. Getting one boss is punishing enough. If you get it in your win condition, your boss lane, the neutral one on your side, and then you get that second one 5 minutes later, that's scary. But Leoric, he tends to be a little squishier, and Glaurung likes to be a little more ambitious with his positioning, so we'll see how that plays out.
Well, this is our last game in elimination match, and our casters are ready, so I want one word. Who's going to take it? J-Hal? Okay, Kala.
Octalysis.
Tempo Storm.
All right. I don't have to say anything. Casters, over to you!
No clue.
Cheeky little dodge there by Gilly.
I didn't even notice that. Good that you pointed it out. Yeah, Gilly dodged actually our own prediction. Who do you think is
As
going
you
to take
literally
it?
just did this immediate instant.
No, but like seriously, one thing is pretty clear. This is going to be an explosive one. Zeratul again. We have a potential follow-up even with the APOC if you make the argument for it. Raynor once more in the game. This is a pretty cool draft, especially around the Medivh and Garrosh setup that we're seeing.
I really do like the Medivh Garrosh, but I am also a big fan of Power of Calcium. But for now, it is Prismaticism. He is going to be playing on that Hanzo. Garrosh being played by Justin. Buds is playing Karazim. Blaze is being played by Goku. And Drated is playing Medivh. And they are Octalysis.
And over to the right side, it is Team Tempo Storm with Glaurung on the off lane. Leoric for him this time, getting the Leorki value. Fan, on the other hand, on Zeratul for the second time now in a row. Caterpillar is playing Diablo. We see Vin on Raynor, the auto attack for him, and June, of course, on Malfurion.
Raynor Diablo Leoric is a classic in HGC China and has a fantastic success rate. So I'm obviously a little biased towards this composition of Tempo Storm as they move in. Buds, very quick portal out after dropping a little bit of damage. Of course, Karazim fantastic at punching the squishier frontliners, like squishier heroes, like a Zeratul, for example.
There's some portal control definitely on the side of Tempo Storm when we're talking about Malfurion and its roots here, where you can control it to an extent. And even with the penetrating round, depending on the setup, Raynor might have a bit of an impact there. But the big deal from Octalysis' point of view is, of course, later on when you have Medivh portal into a Garrosh taunt. That's such a powerful tool when you jump onto the front line, sorry, the back line, and try to take it out here. And even Zeratul, if Fan isn't careful and gets a bit too close to Garrosh and gets taunted, that might be an insta-kill against him as well.
Medivh was hanging around in the bot lane with Garrosh, just in case they could make some kind of cheeky play, using those portals onto Leoric, but it's Leoric, so that's fine, at least for the moment. Glaurung is safe, but there's 3 men in the top lane. They're going to be a pretty big problem. No one's rotating down for it because Octalysis sticking to the game plan. They're going to loot a couple structures, and instead they're going to go and grab their own bruiser cap.
Yeah, they're getting this really, really early here. I mean, every time that you have Hansa in the setup, you of course want to do exactly that, and that gives them now a bit of a big push going through the mid lane here. So this is a really early move already. But from Tempo Storm's perspective, I mean, you should already know what's going on there, since two heroes have been missing for quite some time now. So they should expect that this is going on. And that's one of the reasons why they're trying to be so aggressive at the top lane now, because they realize, well, we need to get something out of it in the meantime.
Medivh once again scouts out the bush, wants to make sure there is no gank coming. Actually moves away a little bit before Glaurung arrives here, as he begins to move in from the side, looks for a good angle, and a little bit of extra wave clear to help clean up that mercenary camp, as his team did not grab one of their own. Glaurung forced to back up here. Cattle, with a quick flip, denying the charge from Blades and giving himself the escape route. Will get tossed though, no portal for him, and after using Shadow Charge already, it's gonna be a Diablo going down as first blood.
A really nice move here, and they're not done yet. Octalysis is pushing in very aggressively around the spell aura from the wizard of the camp, taking down one tower, eliminating the second, and going for the gate itself. Very, very nice early game push by the blue team.
Fan once again rotates up to top lane for a bit, gets some extra wave clear. Goku dashes away just in case, doesn't want to get himself caught out in case anyone else was coming in, and posts himself nearer his structures anyway.
I'm really liking the way that Octalysis has set this up. I was a bit surprised that Tempo Storm was not even trying to invade the camp or scout it out, maybe take one on their own side when they realized that two heroes were missing on the map. But the immediate rotation into the middle to try and defend it was pretty smart. But Octalysis, through Medivh and all the displacements that they have with Garrosh, were able to get the kill, the two turrets, and have now already taken a lead in experience. First objective, spawning at the top lane, is giving a bit of an advantage to Tempo Storm, though. They have Leoric still pushing through the bot lane, and the Siege Giants are on the way. But the problem for them is they cannot interrupt the top long enough, so they don't get as much value out of it as they were hoping for.
Quick stun on Glaurung, but he's able to, of course, pull back. Doesn't have the drain hope, so he won't heal back that health. Has to wait for the health regen to come forth, as this top push will continue. Lots of pressure, and of course, if anyone oversteps, it's Garrosh punishment time.
One of the synergies later on is obviously also that we're going to very likely see seven-sided strike, and once that happens, you just like get the seven-sided in, and you can try and blow someone apart like instantly.
Cattle gets knocked up another time here. Finally actually gets his overpower off, as it was interrupted somehow a little bit earlier on. Not sure how that happened, as we will see Fan pulling back here. Once again, just dueling with Raided, who is already on 13 stacks, playing it safe, but he's getting there with that Arcane Rift.
Second tribute is a little bit of a better position for Tempo Storm. They already take the early position here in the shrub. The problem still is that Reyna isn't with them. He has to take the long way around, and that forces them away from that position again, since they don't have a damage follow-up. But Cattle goes in deep and immediately getting flipped here. He finds himself in trouble, but the rest of the team is moving in, and Glaurung already into that backline. Needs to Wraith walk out, but he might still fall here. The stun hits Cattle on Diablo, as Justin is pushing forward.
While that was happening, though, while the pressure was on the front line, June and Vin actually had a really good position, firing over the wall, dropped a lot of damage onto Justin, who is dropped low. Here's the counter engage. Good use of the portal, though, keeping him safe. As Cattle has finally arrived with the rest of his team, Fan can tailbot over the wall if he wants to, but down goes June here, and they're looking for Cattle as well, but that extra healing is good. Fan. Whoa, nice use of the wormhole, gets out.
Yeah, gets barely away from this one. He's actually still being chased. Yeah,
no.
Goku might get him. Fan trying to escape, and that's the kill. There we go.
Crossfire value.
3 kills against 0 on the Crossfire, eliminating him here. The extra damage coming through. But these fights are just absolutely all over the place. You see the portal engaged. We see Karazim jumping in deep. Zeratul trying to flank from the backline. And then, of course, the throws of Garrosh himself. It's just a really chaotic team fight, and getting that synergy right in such a situation is incredibly difficult to pull off. But Octalysis really controls the chaos so far.
They really do, as they begin burning down a boss, making the most of their quick advantage. And that's going to be a big deal, because this boss is going to be pre-pushing. If they could have very delayed that at least a little bit and like tried to cap it as the tribute spawned, grabbed that, and by the time the boss arrived at the fort, they would have had Curse if they won the Curse fight. But instead, they're going to try and use that boss to put some pressure on bot lane, maybe grab a tower or two, which might get them closer to level 10, which they will then use to push in with this Curse.
This is still a fantastic position, because it forces Tempo Storm to really engage into this. If this is Curse, then that would snowball very quickly, but already so much damage on Tempo Storm. In a bit of an awkward spot here, but they have good tools to interrupt.
Fan from over the wall. Good damage on the last second wormhole. Good double stun by Blaze though. Quick toss it onto Cattle once again with a great knockup by Justin, who takes down the Diablo again. A gorgeous job here.
And once more, we have the channel started on the Tribute, and that should be Curse. And we're so close to level 10 for Octalysis. The boss still pushing at the bot lane. The Curse hits them. Justin is moving in. They're trying to get the kill, and they take down Glora. And Leoric is down. Level 10's in play. They can go for a second boss later on. They can push through the lanes, and that's exactly what they're doing. Bottom, Fort, Agona, and Tempo Storm is in so much trouble here.
Justin doing his bit, really embracing his new job as an archaeologist, hunting skeletons every single time, picking off Glarong as this boss, still with some health, with the new Siege Giant caps they're just about to pick up. They are going to try and pick up the first keep of the game at 7 minutes. A good Dragon Arrow just to really set up, as once again it is Diablo who is taken out. Another gorgeous move by Octalysis.
The 7-sided combo, we talked about it earlier. You isolate the target with Garrosh, and then you go for the 7-sided blow-up, and they get their kill. Diablo is just hurting, and there's the kill against the keep. They take it down. 7 minutes and 30 seconds in the game. The boss is still there, and Tempo Storm is just beaten to a pulp in this early game. They finally have level 10, but so far they have taken a massive, massive beating.
Yeah, Octalysis considered going for core there, as did I, as they threw down the portal and then were like, oh wait, it's only 7 minutes in the game. Garrosh is back in 5 seconds, they have level 10. Very sensibly back up here, as they're just going to keep control of the map, grab their Bruiser Camp, grab their Siege Giants, and look for more structures. Top 4 already slightly weakened. That will be a fantastic lane to push very soon.
At this point, Octalysis just has to play this safe. They should actually scout this out, and they do. Goku is already there, and so is Medivh, so they know what's happening. The cap has been taken in the mid lane, and they should be there in time. Garrosh is already closing in, and here comes Hanzo as well. He can still fire the arrow. It's a weird move by Tempo.
What a gorgeous Dragon Arrow completely into the choke point as 7-sided deletes Diablo again. As Fan gets a VP, gets himself out. Boss is leashed, but it's another kill going over to Octalysis. 7-0 counter.
A horrible boss call by Tempo Storm here. The call itself is not the issue, but once that you realize that your opponent is rotating in and that you won't be able to finish the boss, they should have abandoned that a lot earlier. I feel originally the idea was, okay, if they try and fight here, we get a fight on level 10 versus level 10. But Octalysis, the timing worked out for level 13, and that was something you could see already. And then being behind so much already, being willing to engage into a fight where your opponent has a talent advantage over you, is a pretty questionable move. There was a lot of pressure on Tempo Storm, and I think it really shows in the decision-making at this point that they are struggling dealing with it.
Well, they still have a chance there. A talent behind still, but this is still a front wall that's intact. This is still a defense that is possible. As Cattle, once again, he's damaged. Portal Mastery. You can see the portal hovering there for a second. It's dropped. It's Garrosh, but Diablo this time on point is the immediate overpower, but 7-sided. See ya, Cattle. And Fan even drops super low, is able to escape by the skin of his teeth.
Diablo has spent more time dead than alive in this game. That's a little what it feels like right now. Every time he moves forward, Garrosh is there. The portal sets Garrosh up in a perfect place, and then the 7-sided is positioned. Diablo back now once again. The souls are gone though, and here comes the lightning breath as they're pushing Justin back. The boss has not taken down the keep. But
so
a 3-level advantage and so much infrastructure gone on Tempo Storm's side.
Oh, Justin gets cleaved. Oh my god, Fan! He wormholes back, doesn't want to die there. But Justin almost taken out there, but got out thanks to the Quicksilver from Karazim there and the portal from Medivh. Great escape by Octalysis.
Tempo is a rough game here. What they need is they need to play it slow. They have one, I mean, I don't want to call it an advantage, but there's one saving grace for them right now. With Octalysis already cursing them earlier and getting the keep at the bot lane, there's 0 tributes for Octalysis at this point. That means you have some time. You can let tributes go, you can play for time, you can get your own level 13, try to force a fight around level 13 talents. If that doesn't work out for you, you have a bit of a chance to see if you can maybe get an isolation pick somewhere. You can also push it forward to level 16 and play around that, but it's tricky, especially when we see more engages like this happening. Again, Diablo down over and over again. Cattle is picked off at that front line. 6 deaths on him already.
I mean, what do you do about that, though? They have no cleanse. Malfurion's Nature's Cure does not work on the silences of Garrosh. They have no way to deal with this, or even the silences, the polymorphs of Medivh. It's just easy lockdowns here. The only way they can do it is by choosing the engagements themselves.
Yeah.
They're 2 levels down, now about to be a talent down again. This is a nightmare for Tempo Storm.
I mean, you can't really blame Cattle for this. In some of those cases, he might have been a bit out of position, but we've seen so many instances now where they are just portaling Garrosh with Medivh deep into just behind Diablo, throw him in, and then it doesn't matter where Cattle is positioned. So the Octalysis is just creating these situations so well, and with them taking the boss at the bot lane, they want to end. There's no keep left here anymore. You take that boss, you have the 3-level advantage, you have level 16, and you're just moving in to end the game 12 minutes into the match.
Van's in position to potentially try the multi-person VP. He's scouted a little bit by the Sonic Arrow. He could also VP the core, buy his team some time here. These are all the options. As you can see, Tempo Storm trying to take the aggressive defense position. Fan with good harassment onto the backline, but immediately defended by the force of Wells. See ya, Diablo.
7th
and
death.
the core's going down.
Yeah, core's going down here, and Octalysis is going to move forward in the tournament. Tempo Storm is going to be eliminated here. VP delays it for a bit longer, but it doesn't even matter. Leoric goes down 2, and the core is down to 20. The core is down to 10, and this is it. Octalysis takes the series with a 2-1 and sends Tempo Storm packing.
Really nicely done. Well deserved by Octalysis. They were in control of game number 1. They were in control of game number 2. Little shaky on game, in game number 1 and game number 3. Little shaky on game number 2, but overall that was an incredibly solid performance.
But even in game number 2, it was just great drafts on both sides and a very back and forth match that we saw there. Good teamfight control from Tempo Storm. But if you look at what we just saw here, that was just absolutely not working out for Tempo Storm from start to finish with all that pressure against Diablo in particular. And you can see the frustration.
You can't blame them for being frustrated a little bit here. But either way, Tempo Storm, they put on a good fight in game number 2 especially, and in the series earlier today, they did look good. I am so excited to see where they go from here, but for now, it's going to be Octalysis moving on to the next round in the lower bracket.
And we talked a lot about, when we headed into the tournament, about the Sleeping Dragon status, where they had so many games where they ended up on the 5th map and just barely lost a match. And it led to that very bad match record for them that also put into question, can they make it to the event? But now they're here. And this is a series that you have to remember, they originally lost against Tempo Storm in the regular season, but now they performed incredibly strong. They had the draft and the perfect answer to what Tempo Storm was trying to pull off here in game number 3.
Very impressive indeed with Octalysis. They're going to be playing against the winner of Team Liquid versus Heroes Half. Their road is by no means easy from here on out.
Yeah, that next series is actually going to be an absolute highlight when we have North America going up against Europe again, and that's 2 teams that you didn't expect to be in the lower bracket. So definitely another highlight coming up. I'm sure we're going to hear a little bit more about that series here too. For me personally, I'm still impressed about how they were able to snipe Diablo over and over again with this setup around Karazim, Medivh, and of course Garrosh.
Well, it's time to ask them as we're going to head over to the desk where they have Justin.
Thank you so much. Tetra, I am indeed here with Justin after their win over Tempo Storm. Justin, you got some revenge over Tempo Storm. How are you guys feeling after your match versus Dignitas? Were you okay with the result there?
I'd say we were mostly, because it felt like from the first to the second game there was huge improvement. So we weren't really too bummed out about it, and Dig is probably the best team here. So we weren't too hard on ourselves, and we just wanted to focus on the next match, which was Tempo.
Well, of all of the initial NA versus EU matches, we've seen Europe have a lot of success, though Freedom did make it through. Where do you feel like is the big strength for Europe after these first matches, and what are the things that NA teams are going to have to do to adjust if they're going to be able to start getting those wins?
I think their meta is a lot more advanced than ours is right now.
Okay.
I'd say that their picks are just stronger, and what they play is a little bit better. They just have a better understanding of the meta. And above that, I mean, they just probably play better right now. So EU's just really scary. So hopefully we can bring it to whoever we face.
All right, Kala, question for Justin?
First off, congratulations. I bet you that's a win that feels pretty darn good.
Yeah.
My one question is draft related. Were you expecting Tempo Storm to run a Deckard Cain instead of Malfurion when you're the one who has the Garrosh and you've got the Medivh? Was the Malfurion confusing for you, or was it like, did you guys talk about it at all? Was that kind of your game plan to look for June most of the time, or?
Not so much. I think we weren't really too worried about what support they got. We were mostly just really concerned about what we got and if we got the right picks and denying them the globals that they wanted. We figured the offlane and the globals were probably the most important to try to choke, and we got a pretty good choke on them, so I think that's part of why we won.
Right on. Thanks.
Justin, no matter how many times I talk to you guys, especially you in particular, I've never heard your confidence really ever waver. And you guys come into this tournament, you say, look, this is not, our record is not what reflects on how good we can be. And you show up here and you take down Tempo Storm, somebody that you've had success against before at these tournaments. But what's the confidence like going forward? You obviously went against Dig already. You move on to day 2, and that was a goal of yours. But confidence-wise, what is the limit now?
I mean, we're just going to do our best, and I'd say we're fairly confident, but we're not like overconfident. Like, we aren't coming in expecting to just smash everybody and win the whole tournament. This is mostly a learning experience with the new roster. So as long as we get traded some more good experience in the big lands, I think that'll help big for BlizzCon, because that's the goal. I mean, we can beat probably anyone at least one game, but taking series against the big kings of EU is going to be a struggle for sure.
Well, I want to take a look at a replay with you, because this is something, obviously Draded on the Medivh, this is something that when we see these plays, they play out as they happen. But I want you to take me through what it's like in comms, because clearly the objective is to get the Medivh portal over with the Dragon Arrow. And when we look at the mini-map, obviously we see Hanzo chilling way down. You want to get that max range Dragon Arrow. Before we start this replay, what are the comms like to set this play up? Because clearly you're going over the wall because you have the curse. How early are you setting up this play?
So I'm pretty sure before this, we saw Leo top a while prior, so we figured that we probably had a positioning advantage, and they weren't 10s yet. So we're trying to get just our advantage as soon as we can before they hit 10s. So basically, as soon as we're in range, we're calling for Priz to try to get the engage with the arrow, and we're calling for like me and Draded to just try to get an engage with the portal and the flip taunt. We get the stun on Mouth, but Diablo has a good charge on me, so that kind of messes up the engage on Mouth, but then we get the engage on Diablo instead. So I guess it was kind of a lose-lose for them at that point, because they also aren't 10s yet, which was the main goal.
Yeah, I mean, just watching that, you can just see it. It seems like Hanzo players, when we see in competitive, Hanzo sits back a mile away, and you know you're trying to get that max range arrow. And I'm just, you know, getting comms, being able to hear that in your perspective is quite unique, obviously, on the broadcast side of things. So being able to hear how early that's set up, I think, to me, is always cool, because you know that's coming, it's coming, it's coming. It was a fantastic play to watch.
Well, Justin, congratulations again on you guys' win. Good luck tomorrow in the future of this tournament. Guys, we have one series left for today, and it's another elimination match. After the break, Heroes Hearth Esports versus the Leftovers. Stay tuned.
Goku just giving them a chance to escape. Good knockback by Glaron, though, and down goes Blaze.
And he might not be the only one. Butts is in trouble. Here comes again Glaron jumping in. The head is there, but the kills are coming in. June is dying to the counter kill on the side of Octalysis.
By the way, and on Defender 1-0 is back off cooldown. Now they are available for the full team fight. Getting both Fan and Finn in the double engage. They wipe out the copy. The original escapes, but we're going to see a huge push. This keep is a goner.
Yeah, Cocoon is in, and here comes the engage against Caterpillar, and Cattle goes down, and Uberuk is already dead, and they're attempting to turn it now on to Glorang once more. Glorang on Urel gets stunned, gets locked down. Here comes the damage, and Urel goes down. 5th death on the side of Glorang as we're seeing Octalysis move towards the core, taking down Deckard Kane. Fantastic game on Braxis by the blue team.
Get the trade, but he's able to wormhole out still. As a big dive in coming in from Cattle, they're trying to set it up. Stun onto Raider. Can they take him down?
Justice in a trouble, so is Prisma. They need to be careful here. The scroll comes through, but at the same time, we're seeing the Void Prisoner, and that's the end of Johanna. Down she goes. Tempo Storm with a kill, and they're looking for a second one. Urel diving in deep, popping the Defender here, but already Cattle is moving into the backline again and trying to get the kill against Deckard Kane, and he goes down. The support eliminated.
Use a drag onto Goku to prevent the chase onto his team. We see Tranquility from over the wall, and Finn dropping huge amounts of damage onto Justin as a great move by Cattle, leaving over the wall to make himself a little bit safer as Zeratul trades for Deckard.
Zeratul goes down, so does Muradin, and they're trying for more. Justin is a bit low, but he has the Iron Skin and use it. Glorang is dead. It's a triple kill.
Good dodge on the counter engage. Cattle getting focused down the Lordinator is zoning him away as the arrow from behind is doing crazy damage to Prismatic System. Oh, good VP as they focus down Prisma, but they're not able to finish him off bad with great wormholes back and forth in the fight.
Reyna is down, and that's the main damage, and he's not the only one. Justin actually gets popped on his 20. Here comes Indestructible, but he's about to get dropped too. He's down, and so is Deckard. A triple kill as we're seeing Cattle jumping deep. The Stormbolt connects. Yeah, but they have good tools to interrupt.
Fan from over the wall. Good damage concentrated. Last second wormhole. Good double stun by Blaze though. Quick toss onto Cattle once again with the great knockup by Justin, who takes down the Diablo again. A gorgeous job there.
Closing in, and here comes Hanzo as well. He can still fire the arrow. It's a weird move by Tempo.
Oh, what a gorgeous dragon arrow completely into the choke point as seven-sided deletes Diablo again. And trying to take the aggressive defense position. Fan with good harassment onto the backline, but immediately defended by the force of will. See you, Diablo.
Seventh
and
death.
the core's going down.
Yeah, course going down here, and Octalysis is going to move forward in the tournament. Tempo Storm is going to be eliminated here. VP delays it for a bit longer, but it doesn't even matter. Leoric goes down 2, and the core is down to 20. The core is down to 10, and this is it. Octalysis takes the series with a 2-1 and sends Tempo Storm packing.